What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Average Leader here with another video. Today I'm going to tell you about the array list in Java, and I'm going to try to do it in 5 minutes or less. Let's get started. What is an array list? An array list is a dynamic array. It's said to be dynamic because the resizing of the data structure happens without us having to manually resize it like we did with the array. You might have guessed it, but the array list is one of the few data structures that is internally backed by the array. We can make an array list by declaring it like so. Array list, left angle bracket, object type, right angle bracket, variable name equals new. Array list, left angle bracket, right angle bracket, and some parentheses. What are the pros of the array list? There are 3 big pros of array lists. 1. As I said earlier, we don't have to manually resize the backing array when the array list reaches its capacity. It does it automatically. If you remember in my array video, I mentioned that when an array reaches its full capacity and we need to add more elements, we have to create another array of double the size and copy all the elements from the original array to the new array. This resizing happens automatically in array lists without us having to do it. The second big pro, similar to the array, is that we can access any item in our array in all of one time if we know the index of that item. We can do this by calling the get method, where the parameter is the index of that item. This makes perfect sense for how it does this because of its array backing. The third big pro is that we can add elements to the end of our array list in all of one time. Anytime you use the add method where the parameter is the element we are adding to our array list, the element is added to the end of the data structure. Let's dive into this. As I've said a few times now, the array list is backed by an array, and the array has a variable marking the position that the element should be added in. This is how the add method runs in all of one time. But what do you think happens when we call the add operation when we have a full array list? Adding an element to a full array list triggers a resize operation. Although we don't have to manually resize the array list, it still happens in the background, just like we would have to if we added more elements to an array. The time complexity of resizing is O of n. I know what you're thinking. This resizing is very expensive, but we'd only have to trigger a resize if we called the add operation n times. Because the expensive resize happens so few times over all the times we end up calling it the very efficient O of 1 add operation, we say that adding to the end of an array list is amortized O of 1. I can make a separate video talking about this if you'd like me to, just let me know. What are the cons of the array list? There are 2 pretty big cons which revolve around some of the expensive operations of the array list. The first con is that if we don't know the index of the element we're looking for, we'd have to iterate through the entire array list to find that element. Sound familiar? Oh yeah, this is one of the cons of the arrays too. The second con is that whenever we add or remove an element at a certain index, we have to shift all the elements down. This is very inefficient, running at a time complexity of O of n in the worst case. The worst case being, if we added an element at the 0th index or removed an element at the 0th index, we'd have to shift everything down. The only time we can do either of these operations and it not jeopardize runtime is if we add an element at the end of our array list or remove the last non-null item of our array list. Then you don't need to shift anything. So when do you use an array list in an interview setting? When you don't know how many elements you'll need to store up front, you should probably think about using an array list. Some array list interview questions that I really like to test my array list interviewing skills are zigzag conversion, merge intervals, and insert delete get random O of 1. I can make videos on these if you'd like, just let me know in the comments. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you. If you found any value from this video, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below how many times you think I said array list. Also, follow my LinkedIn. I post all my video updates there. Link is in the description. And with that all out of the way, I'll see you guys next time.